Hey guys, it's me Peter, and today I will compare these three heavy-duty cases for the iPhone 7 Plus. My goal is to help you decide which one to get if you're thinking of getting one for your new iPhone. So the usual suspects includes the Otterbox Defender case, which sells for $50+, making it the most expensive of the three cases here. I think it's also the most popular heavy-duty case for any mobile device. Next, we have the Subcase Unicorn Beetle Pro case, which sells for $17. And then we have the most affordable one, the Poetic Revolution case, which retails for $15. So now let's go ahead and start the comparison. All three cases have the same design, including a polycarbonate inner piece and soft TPU or silicone cover. The Otterbox has a cutout for the Apple logo, so that's really nice. It's also covered with plastic to protect the logo from scratches. Next, all three cases have decent size cutouts for the camera. They all have a soft touch finish. The Subcase has a branding in the middle, as well as 6 raised pads for added protection when laying the phone on its back. The Poetic case also has a logo in the middle and very cool looking lines on the back. There's also a Poetic branding at the bottom part. The Otterbox is mostly plain with just the branding at the bottom. I really like the design on the Poetic case compared to the other two. Again, the Otterbox is plain looking while the Subcase has too much going on. You don't really need those 6 humps on the back as the camera is not really protruding. Now let's go ahead and move these cases closer so you can see the size difference. So as you can see, the Otterbox is longer while the Poetic case is the shorter one. All three cases have built-in screen protectors. The Otterbox has a clear plastic covering for the home button, while the other two have cutouts so the home button is exposed. But that's not really an issue as the material that Apple used for the home button is hard to scratch. You really have to intentionally scratch it with a sharp object to cause some damage. Anyway, it's still great that Otterbox added some extra protection. All three cases have a wide cutout for the front camera and earpiece. Side by side, you can see that the Otterbox is really bulky. It just doubled the thickness of the phone. The Subcase is slightly thicker compared to the Poetic case, making the Poetic case the slimmest of the three. So here's what the bottom design looks like. All three cases have lightning port covers. The Poetic and Subcase cases have similar size cutouts for the speaker, while the ones on the Otterbox are a lot bigger. On the left side, we'll see that the Otterbox and Subcase cases have covers for the mute switch, while the Poetic case has an open cutout. It's not a real issue as the switch is deep in there and still well protected. The volume buttons are raised on the Otterbox and Poetic cases, while on the Subcase, they're almost flush to the case, so they're kind of hard to feel for. On the other side, we have the same raised buttons for the Otterbox and Poetic cases, and a flush one for the Subcase. The Otterbox Defender has a padded interior on its back piece for that added protection. Same goes here on the Poetic case. However, the Subcase only has this strip of silicone, while the rest is just hard plastic. So it's really scary to keep the iPhone in here due to the lack of padding. So we're done comparing the external looks of the cases. Now let's proceed with the installation process and find out which one is the hardest to install. The Otterbox Defender takes some time to install because the inner case is made of 2 pieces that you have to snap together properly. If you don't do it right the first time, then it's going to take more time to go back and snap the cases together. But other than that, it's a fairly easy install. As for taking the case off, you're basically just reversing the installation process. Simply remove the silicone cover first, and then unsnap the 2 pieces covering the iPhone, and that's it. Now let's proceed to the Poetic Revolution case. This is a lot easier to install because you're just dealing with 2 pieces. Just place the phone in and then cover it with the TPU piece. Last step is to secure the lip around the case in the grooves, and that's it. Taking the case off is just as easy as installing it. The Poetic case is the easiest to install and uninstall among the 3 cases. Now, before I install the Subcase Unicorn Beetle, I want to mention one major annoyance. The sides of the inner piece doesn't have a cutout similar to the Poetic case, and because of that, there's risk of damaging the buttons on the iPhone if you're not careful with the installation. You have to pull the side open to allow the iPhone to slide in. And again, if you're not careful, you can break the TPU piece. As for taking the case off, you will also encounter the same issue when you try to remove the phone from the inner piece. You need to pry open the side so you can safely take the phone out. This is one of the major problems to the design of this case. As for the Touch ID and the touchscreen, everything still works on the Otterbox Defender case. That clear plastic covering for the button did not affect the response of the Touch ID at all. There's a little bit of give from the screen protector when you press on it, but the touchscreen still works properly. Now, on the Poetic Revolution and the Subcase Beetle cases, they both have cutouts for the home button, so everything works properly. The touchscreen responds very well, and the screen protector on both these cases seems to be a lot closer to the screen. You don't really feel that there's a screen protector on these cases. Next, let's try the buttons. On the Defender case, the buttons are really hard to press. You really have to push them to get a response. However, they are raised, so they're easy to find. On the Subcase Beetle, the buttons are flush to the case, so they're harder to locate. But the buttons are still very responsive when you click on them. Next, we have the Poetic Revolution case. This case has one of the best tactile feel when you press on the buttons. They are raised and textured, so you can easily feel for them. Now, for the ports and covers, the ones on the Otterbox Defender case are easy to flip open and close, but they're really deep. So you cannot possibly dock the iPhone with the case on. The Subcase Beetle also has a flip cover for the lightning port, but as you can see, the port is really not that deep. The mute switch also has a cover that works fine. On the Poetic Revolution case, the cutouts are not that deep, just like on the Subcase Beetle. However, this case does not have a cover for the mute switch, but you're not really missing anything because of that. Next, let's talk about the cameras. All three cases have properly sized cutouts for the front-facing camera, because as you can see, there's nothing blocking the camera. All three cases also have spot-on cutouts for the rear-facing cameras, as I did not have any flashback issues when taking pictures. So now that I've finished comparing all aspects of these three cases, I noted that the Otterbox Defender case offers the greatest amount of protection. However, the size of the case, the harder to press buttons, and the price of this case stops me from really recommending this case. For me, the Poetic Revolution case is the best one here. It's very slim, yet it still offers great protection. So this is the one I'm recommending. The Subcase Beetle Pro case has too many issues, including the flash buttons, the lack of padding inside the case, and being the most difficult to install or uninstall. I also don't like the design on the back, especially the small humps. I think they're not necessary because the back itself is so thick that the camera is not protruding. So that's it for me. Just head over to the links I provided in the description to get more information about these cases. Also leave a comment on which one you like among the three cases. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.